Welcome to the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Investing Podcast with your hosts, Jack and Michelle Bosch. Together, let's uncover the secrets to building true wealth through real estate and living a purpose-driven life.
My name's David. I'm with the Land Profit Generator, and we're going to be recording this for our podcast. And I wanted to go over a couple things and help you hit your yearly goals. So what we're actually going to be doing is taking a behind the scenes look on not only setting your yearly goal on revenue, but how do we actually get there? What are some of the tools that we actually use? Because as you know, if you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, not everything fits on your whiteboard. Okay. Not everything fits on your whiteboard. And so, yes, we do need a process. Yes, we do need to know how to implement the process. But there will come a time in your business, and this is what we're going to talk about today, on how to get over the hump and get conversions. Okay. Being with the Land Profit Generator family, I see a lot of people that really struggle with this. And so this is for you. This is for myself 4 years ago when I had no experience in real estate and everything looked good on paper. But when I started to implement, coming up with some of these struggles, we're going to attack this today together. Okay, great. All right, cool. So a little bit of background on myself. I live in Dallas. And I've been doing land flipping for about 3.5, maybe 4 years now. And I've done 8 states. I've done over 70 deals. I've done small, I've done big. I focus on consistency. And one of the things, my favorite things to do is to figure out, where can I delegate? Where can I systematize? Systematizing and delegation is what's going to take you, if you're actually seeing this video, if you can visualize me, if you're driving down the street, is what takes you from just a prospective investor to business owner. Okay, so we're going to talk about the differences there and some of the tools and some of the experiences I've had in this gap right here. So if you're looking at me now, if you can visualize me now, I'm raising my hands above my shoulders, and I'm saying, hey, listen, this line right here is where we are when we're just prospective investors, where we're doing deals to make money. That's great. But what is the difference between doing deals to make money and having a consistent business model that you can count on, that you can invest in, that you know how much money you're putting in, you know how much time it's gonna cost you, and you know how much money you're gonna make? Okay. So now, one of the secret components of this is delegation. Okay. Now, when we were discussing how to present this today, we had to really look on, what do people struggle with starting a business for the first time, and why are they actually doing it in the first place? So this is really cool. So right now, it's July 2021, and many people have set goals for the whole year. Okay, in January they set goals. And, some of those goals might be doing 100 deals in a year, or just doing 5 deals, or making $1 million. Whatever the case may be, that goal is there. Okay. Now, what happens is, if you're using our method of marketing, that's how we get our deals, right? There is a delay of time. Okay. There's a delay of time. Now, I know what to expect in that time. I know that it's going to take me X amount of days to do my marketing campaign, and it's going to take me X amount of days to negotiate, and it's going to take me X amount of days to close on that property, to sell it or list it and then sell it, right? So you have to build that into your expectations. And so one of the very most important key parts of this is understanding what tools we're using to get there. Okay. People is the biggest asset in your business. I was just talking to somebody yesterday. He's making $3 million a year doing this. He said, people is your biggest resource in land flipping. And I had to evaluate myself and I had to think back on, he's actually right. He's actually right. When you position people as a resource in your business properly, they will and they can convert. Okay. If you're not giving them the tools, if you're not giving them the right training material, if you're not giving them the right support, you're wasting their talents. Not only are you wasting their talents, but you're wasting your time too, because you might be paying for it. So you're either giving them a percentage or you're giving them a salary. And next thing you know, they're just racking up hours and they're getting unmotivated and decreasingly unmotivated. And that's a really scary thing in a business. Okay. So one of the beautiful things about land flipping is it's 100% digital. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, yes, this is digital. Why is it digital? Because we're not going to the property. Everything we do is either through email or a phone call. Every single thing is through our software programs, through delegating systems, and closing deals. Okay. So if we have that potential to be 100% digital, we now have the ability to scale and delegate. Huge game changer, game changer. So as I was going through the processes of, like, as I was saying, this range right here of being an investor, a prospective investor that makes investments and makes money, there is a gap between this and having a consistent business model. And understanding the tools and utilizing the tools and in between the difference is night and day for me. It's night and day. And so right now, in my business, we have a lot of deals to sell because we just got so much inventory. So right now in 2021, it's a hot market. And so got deals to sell in actually 4 states right now. And the response rate is high. The close time is fast. And so what I'm doing right now, and I'm hoping to contribute today to you, is how am I actually even spending my time? How am I spending my time? Because one thing that's super key is, like, you might be considering, well, how much time am I spend on this? Because if you're spending too much time on X, Y, and Z, you're wasting money, frankly. You're wasting money, frankly. Okay. So what I've done for the past week is prepare and organize what's in my brain. Super key, guys. If you want to have $1 million business model, you're gonna have to do this one thing. Okay. This one thing comes with a lot of pain. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I take calls every day. I talk to land flippers every day. And if you don't want to do this one thing that I'm going to explain to you, then you will not have the same business model as me. And that's okay. You can go on being an engineer and doing spreadsheets the rest of your life. And if you like doing, that's totally fine. But if you want to have this scalable business model where you can extract yourself from it and the business is running on its own, you have to do this one thing. Okay. What is this one thing? What is this one thing? I need this one thing. What is this one thing? This one thing is going to save me. Yes, you're exactly right. It will. Okay. Okay. The great news is you only have to do it once. Okay. You only have to do this one thing once. And once you do it correctly one time, you're done. Okay. You're done. So, hey, listen, you got to go through the fire. Okay. Now, as you take on people into your business, you might be outsourcing, or you might be outsourcing your due diligence, or you might be outsourcing your listing, or you might even be outsourcing your sales. Whatever the case may be, where you're incorporating people or even systems for that matter, there has to be a step-by-step. Okay. Now, the one beautiful, amazing thing about this whole program and the land profit generator method is that the deal flow is already built for you. understanding how to do comps and understanding how to do a mailing campaign and understanding how to close deals. That's already here. But you might be a person like myself where you have to put it on a whiteboard anyways, okay? You have to put it on a whiteboard anyways. You can know all this stuff, but you have to visualize it because you have to dissect it. And when you can take on people, one of my favorite things to do is I pride myself on explaining the details as if I'm explaining it to a middle school student. I think elementary is a little too low. High school's great, but middle school is even better, right? At middle school, they understand math. They're starting to kind of understand how kind of things fit together and they can do repeatable tasks and stuff like that. They may not pay attention, right? But they're smart enough to do it. So I always put myself in the shoes of explaining these tasks as if I'm talking to somebody in the 8th grade. I have to prepare them, give them the resources, instructions, and processes and support to implement. Keyword, implement. Okay. So what is this one thing? Okay. So I'm building up to it. Okay. It is a clear process training program for your business. Now, why do I say this is absolutely key? Why do I say this is what's going to take you from just a prospective investor to having a repeatable business? Is because now you can scale, you can outsource, and you don't have to hire somebody that is great at this, but you can't repeat it, right? You put yourself in a dangerous position because now you can't give him help. You can't give him help because you don't know how to hire someone to help him, or you don't know how to outsource this one particular task. So perfect example. I did the math on my assistant doing Craigslist ads. Craigslist is super, super, super important in land flipping because we get to a lot of buyers. At the end of the day, when you're marketing, you want to get in front of buyers, okay? So if you're imagining yourself on Market Street, there's a lot of traffic on Market Street. If you're selling hot dogs on Market Street, you're going to sell hot dogs, okay? So that's how you want to consider marketing. And so Craigslist is an extremely underutilized tool because a lot of people don't know how to use it and they don't do it properly, okay? So I did the math. And it was taking my VA for the better part of 4 hours to do a listing on Craigslist. And if you calculate how much I'm paying my VA and how much I need my VA to do other things, it was a no-brainer for me to outsource it. Because now I'm outsourcing it for a fraction. If you're actually watching this, like literally, like a fraction of what I was paying my VA. Because now I'm outsourcing that task to somebody that's trained, that has a process on doing it, and that's really good and that gets results. All of a sudden, my business changes, okay? So I have to have somewhere where I'm having a clear step-by-step process of that in my funnel for my business. If not, it's just in my brain and it's in an email thread somewhere with somebody that I'm having a conversation with and they're doing it for me. That is where you're going to get into trouble, okay? We have to have on paper or in the cloud, step by step by step, so that you can take this little bubble of the big cloud. If you're thinking about it in the clouds, take this little bubble from this big cloud. You can extract that and give it to somebody and delegate. That is the key. If you're listening to me now, that is the absolute 100,000% key of hitting your goal with land flipping this year. Okay? 100%. I'm doing it myself. I constantly think about it every single day. Am I empowering this little bubble with enough tools and information and delegation systems to succeed properly and efficiently? If you're just saying, hey, can you do my listings? Well, how do you like your listings? Do you like big listings? Do you like small listings? Do you like listings without words? Do you want you want words on the picture? There has to be a step by step by step by step. Okay. Now, the beautiful thing with the land profit generator method, we explain how to do that. But going from a one person business to a repeatable business, you have to have these tools in place that you can use them as widgets. So you want to consider, please, guys, if you're listening to me, how can we widget our business? How can we widget our business? Number one is building out that training module step by step. Click on this, click on that, click on this, click on that. So the tools that I'm using to do that, number one, the absolute key is this: you want to imagine a virtual whiteboard. If you can imagine a virtual whiteboard and you're going to see bubbles, do a mailer. That's one bubble. And then there's going to be a line connected to onboarding the leads from the mailer. Well, that little bubble of doing a mailer might be 52 steps of, how to pick a county, and then how to download the leads, and then click on this, and then click on that, and then click on this, click on that. If you can do that, you now have a 7-figure business. And I'm speaking from experience. This is not just some ethereal stuff that we're talking about. This is actual tangible stuff that you need to be doing to get to that 7 figures in 2021. Okay, so I'm going to help you. Okay, so cool. I just wanted to build some background on a little bit about what's really important to get to the next step. A little bit about what businesses fail at when they become businesses. Okay, becoming an investor is completely different than becoming a business. Okay, say it with me. Investors completely different than business. Business completely different than investor. Okay, cool. So great. Now that we talked about that a little bit, I'm excited to kind of talk to you about getting that course correction we need halfway through the year. Halfway through the year, you might have set goals for yourself and you got the deals. You're making some sales, but you're like, man, I'm not close to hitting that $1 million business model in 1 year, or I'm not close to doing 20 deals, or I'm not close to doing 5 deals a month, whatever the case may be. Okay. For me, it's widgeting my business, having a widget for every single step. Okay. I need to be able to plug people into the system and unplug them once they're done. Okay, so the meeting I just had with my team, I meet with my team for about a half an hour a day, about 5 days a week. And so that's really where I'm working, is I'm preparing my team. Okay, team, keyword team, so important. I need to put myself in their shoes and ask them, what do you need? What do you need? What are you struggling with? What are you wasting time on? So one thing that I have my team do at the end of the day, everybody sends a 5-minute Loom video. It's called end of day. You can call it EOD, right? End of day report. Okay. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes. It might be 2 minutes. Is like, Loom is a great tool that I like to use in my business because I can archive them. So I have a folder inside my workspace that is end of day reports. Boom, 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 boom. So I can look at their end of day report and see, man, this guy really should be doing X, Y, and Z, but it looks like for the past week, he's doing ABC, right? So not all of these fires you have to put out all at once. So we have to systemize this process. Number one, or one of the systems I use is an end of day report, a Loom video. I want to see them regurgitate back to me. What are they doing? What did you do today? Right? What did you do today? I want to see on your screen, on your face, in your words, what did you do today? What did you struggle with? And it's really great exercise because I feel like it helps them understand the process even better. When they're explaining to me, I logged into this account, but it wasn't working because the Amazon workspace was slow, yada, yada, yada. Or I went into the LastPass account and I found it, but it was under a different name. and then I started doing listings, and then XYZ. I want to see that. It's a really great tool because it holds them accountable to being productive. Okay. All right. So now we're talking more about people and systems. Okay, great. So what I've had to do recently was I've really been thinking, man, I need more sales VAs. I need more people selling properties because last week, well, I should say 2 weeks. Let's just say be safe. I'm pretty sure it was a week and a half, something like that. We did like 8 deals. We did like 8 deals. So they're entitled. I've already collected deposit. We're closing through a title agent, or we've already closed them out completely, like literally in a week. In order to do that, I need to be on the same page as the transactional coordinator in sales. In order to do that, they, I, I can't be working an hour a day in my business and having a $1 million business, and for an hour a day, unless I'm just talking to them all day. I don't want to talk to them. I want them doing their job. So we have to create the process, put it on paper. It is the most, it's a beautiful experience when you can confront reality on your business and see for yourself, wow, I don't know what I'm talking about this. Or I need help here. Or we're spending too much time here. Or I was going through the transaction process last night and I was thinking about it in my head. And I was like, we don't really do a lot of wholesale deals. So I don't really need to focus on that. What I need to focus on is double closes. So let me make sure that this funnel on the double close is premium. Let me make sure that this widget of my business in the transaction process, by the time that buyer picks up the phone and wants to talk to somebody about the property, to the time that's deeded out to him, that is crystal clear and repeatable for my transactional coordinator. Okay, so step number 1, whiteboard, 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 whiteboard. Now you can use tools like Lucid Chart. You can just do it. I do it on a whiteboard. I have literally a 6-foot by 4-foot whiteboard, and that is extremely valuable to me to just visualize. Is my business spending too much time in this one widget? Can I outsource this? I'm constantly thinking about, when you have $1 million business model, you're constantly thinking about, can I outsource this to somebody that's better and more efficient and cheaper, or not? Or do I have to have somebody full-time doing this for me? Okay. You're not going to be doing that unless you can visualize and have transparency to your business. Okay, this is completely different than just doing a deal and having enough money to do another deal. We are talking high level stuff. We are talking what separates the women from the girls, the men from the boys. Okay, is this widget, 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 widget. You want to be able to turn your business into a repeatable widget that somebody can plug into. Okay. Now, the beautiful thing is, in the coaching program, they're showing you and they're holding your hand, doing this with you. Yes, doing this with you. Okay. But let's talk about implementation of this. Okay. So, all right. Step number 1 is whiteboarding out your process. Do you have holes in your process? Step number 2, can you explain this process? And is this a clear process to somebody in middle school? In middle school, is this a clear process that somebody in middle school, you can explain, this is what this bubble means in my business? Okay, that's step number 2. Step number 3, I hope you're taking notes because this is really good. Okay, step number 3 is empowering the person that's doing that widget with the resources and tools that they need to implement. Guys, if you're listening to this for the first time, if you don't know much about me, my name's David Van. I live in Dallas. I'm a land flipper. I've done a lot of deals. Not every single deal is the same. So you can't tell somebody, here's a deal, we got a buyer, and just have him sign his contract. It's it's totally different. Like I just had, like literally last night, my transactional coordinator sent me a message that we're closing on a property. Matter of fact, we own 3 of them, or actually we don't own 3 of them. We're double closing on 3 of them, but we're double closing on one of them. And he wants to close. He's saying if I close on one of them, I'll buy the other 2. So this process is kind of a delicate process because we need to present this to an easy widget to him that, hey, listen, do this, do that. We're going to give you a discount on this. So what I did was I gave him a discount on the future properties. And I think we said, typically, here's a great tip. Here's a great tip to have future customers. I'm always willing to take a hit on dollar for time. I'm always willing to take a hit for dollar on time. I'm always willing to take a hit for dollar for time. What does that mean? I have a buyer that will buy 3 properties if I treat him nicely on the first one. So what I said to him was, we have a standard business operating procedure here in my business that repeat customers get a 15% discount on their next property. If they buy a 3rd property, in future properties, they're going to get 20% discount for everything else. Boom. Problem solved. Okay? Problem solved. So, true story, we're closing on the one property. We haven't even completed closing on it. We're recording it. He's now ready to move forward on the other 2 properties. So now we had a buyer for 1. Now we have a buyer for 3 properties closing on them. All the same person. Okay. So this is super, super, super key because I want to minimize my interactions. I only want to work 1 hour a day. Do you want to work 1 hour a day on your $1 million business? Well, this is what you have to do. Okay. So we have to bubble chart this. We have to whiteboard this. We have to break this down into a box of cookies. Yes, you can eat the whole box of cookies in one night, maybe over a weekend, but you have to break it down into a cookie at a time, okay? And we have to be able to give that cookie to somebody else and say, this is how you do that. These are the tools that you're going to use. This is what's going to come up. This might be a problem, and this is what happens when you have this problem. I'm doing this as well. Now, I promised you by watching and listening to this podcast that you're going to have a tool to walk away from here that you're never going to have to do again. So you can do this one time and you're done. And this one-time project is bubble charting your business from square one to picking accounting to actually deeding the property, or actually paying the taxes. How about that? So deeding the property, collecting the payment, updating the thing in your investment dominator, and paying the taxes. That's when I consider it like completely done. When it's actually in my QuickBooks, I'm cleaning my hands and it's just a past tense transaction. I'm done with it, right? That has to be step by step by step by step. And you have to consider your business as a widget, and you have to be able to extract this widget and give it to somebody else. Now, in my scenario, my case, when I say VA, that means I have a transactional coordinator and a VA. What that actually means is I have a transactional coordinator and a sales VA. So right now, we've closed so many properties in my business, and we have so many more to close that I'm not in a rush to get more. I'm not in a rush. Like this, for me, it's not, repeating the process over and over and over again every month. It's, hey, listen, I got dozens and dozens and dozens of deals to sell. I'm not really interested in picking a new county right now. So I've converted my business and I sat them down and I said, okay, from here going forward to the end of the year, we want to close out 100 deals. So far, I don't even know. I've really got to look at the numbers, but I know we've done 8 in the last 2 weeks. I think we've done like 16 in the last 30 days. To get to 100, we have to pivot, course correction, and focus strictly on getting the sales. Okay. So I broke the sales process down in my business and broke it down into widgets that I can give to my sales VA and my transactional VA and say, focus on this, do this step by step by step. Okay. Here's the beautiful process, guys. Now I can take on more sales VAs and plug them in and say, you know what? I think you can sell 4 properties a week. Let's say, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 a month, by doing this. And here's the training on doing this. Here's the videos on doing this. Here's the whiteboards on doing this. Here's the tools you're going to use. Here's how you log into my phone. Here's how you log into my email. And here's at the end of the day, the end of day report that you're going to do. And this is the process we're doing. And then every single Monday, we have a team meeting to catch up, to make sure that we're hitting our goals. And every single, or actually, no, we actually do a Friday and a Monday. So Monday, we do a projection out. We talk about our family. I want them engaged. I want to know, hey, listen, is this working for you? What else do you need? And then Fridays is like, hey, are we behind on anything? Right? Do I need to outsource the due diligence on this? Do I need to outsource the marketing for this? Right? So you have to be implementing and engaging your business on these tools, on the widgets. Okay. So you got to break it down into like a cookie box, right? And each one of these widgets, each one of these bubbles on your whiteboard is a widget. And you have to be able to empower it with somebody doing it for you. If you're going to have $1 million business, you have to understand how to empower the people doing it for you. Because I don't know if it's news to you, but I'm not talking to the sellers. I'm not talking to the buyers. I'm talking to my transactional coordinator, that is. I'm talking to my sales VA, that is, and I'm empowering them with this, okay? So super important, guys, just to recap here. How do we course correct? A lot of times when we start becoming a real true business from just investor, it's because you have a lot of inventory, okay? It's because you have a lot of inventory and you want to figure out, how do I sell faster, okay? You might be, in a bad position where you might be the holdup in your business, and you might have a bottleneck in your business where you have to relate this constantly. Do it like this, do it like that, do it like this. You're gonna have to build out this bubble chart, put it in the cloud, turning it into a widget, resource that out to your team, and empower them. Okay. Now, I use tools like Lucid Chart. I also use other tools and stuff like that, but that's really not the most important thing to understand right now. What is important is the vision. We're talking about $1 million business here. If you want to talk about $1 million business, we can talk about it. But you're gonna have to confront reality that you're implementing your business on a higher level and outsourcing in a different task. Okay, so we have to create that training module. We have to have a system for it. We have to make sure our people are educated. And once a week, I'm literally asking my team, do you need another computer? I literally am. Do you need a software program? Like, I'm asking, what do you need me to buy? Probably on a daily basis, I'm asking them this. What do you need from me? So I want my team to see me as a resource for them. Okay, hey, listen, we're talking $1 million business here. We're not talking about just getting a deal. Okay, so man, I think this was really incredible. I really wanted to hit some high points on, the difference between just getting a deal and having $1 million business. So I really hope that I encouraged you with this. I really hope I built some background with you on this. I really hope this helps, because this is really important to me, even in myself, in my business. The bubble chart is going to be a living organism for you. You don't have to be perfect at it. You don't have to just make a home run on this thing. You just have to encourage your team that this is going to be a living document for you, a living organism resource for you, and that every single bubble we're going to turn into a widget. And, whether you're using Google Sheets or you're using Loom videos or it's an email chain or something, that's up to you. Okay. But great. I think that really helped push your business forward because just like in my business, I had to pivot. I had to course correct in my own business for the rest of the year. And I said, guys, we don't really need to focus on these tools on due diligence. We don't really need to focus on X, Y, and Z because we're doing ABC 1, 2, 3 right now. So what do you need from me to close these deals faster? And what we figured out was batching time. When I diagnosed my VA's time, it was batching. They're hitting a lead. So right now they're hitting. I think I got like I don't know, like over 70 properties to sell for the rest of the year. Right now I'm having my sales VA focused strictly on these top 10 properties. I want to sell these first 10 properties before I focus on the rest of them. So we're doing that now. We're kind of pivoting. We're course correcting to what's most important. What's going to make the most business for this bit? What's going to make the most money for this business? And it's not due diligence on a $5,000 property. It's selling a $40,000 property that we got for $3,000. Hey, this is really important. Hey, we need to focus on this. Hey, let's focus on make sure we have all the right resources. So this widget right here, focus on this widget for this property. This widget right here, focus on this for this on the transaction. Okay. Oh man, I really hope that helped. I really wanted to hit on some of the high points on reverse engineering what a 7-figure business looks like, what your focus needs to be, what your interactions need to be, how you need to incorporate and empower your team. Okay, you can do this if you're in the Land Profit Generator Facebook group. If you actually been to any of our events, if you actually in our program, you can absolutely 100,000% do this. Step 1 is committing. You're not going to be able to do anything without commitment. And then step 2 is actually putting the vision on paper. Man, that was incredible. I really excited about this. I've been dying to talk about this. I really hope this helps. I want to hear from you. If you're hearing me talk for the first time, I want to hear from you how this actually helped. I want to be able to answer questions for you on implementing this. So my name's David Van. You can find me in the Land Profit Generator Facebook group. I'm here all the time and I'm here to help. Okay, guys, that was incredible. Thank you for your time. Please engage me. Let's get to the next step. Let's hit these goals. Let's turn your business into a widget. Let's turn your business into a widget. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.